Very handy batsman down the order. Dwayne Pretorius.
Successful over for Chahal. 115 for 5. Rocked early, Hendricks. Davids and Clausen knocked over very early with that opening spell from NDA. Zondo, Behardin, bit of rebuilding, and Zondo went out to a soft dismissal. Behardin's just lost another partner, Mulder, with a mix-up. He's gone for 1, so this has been a familiar area in this tournament where, as you say, a clump of wickets have been falling in certain areas of the game.
Yeah, there's been a problem throughout the South African innings that wickets at regular intervals have been falling. No momentum to build handy partnerships. Verdi needs support. Too many clusters of wickets in a short space of time.
Quick single. I'll tell you what, is disconcerting for a batsman when you first come in is when you hit the ball and you call for a 1 and the keeper or a bowler or the fielder shout, it can put you off. This is where Mulder cracked it through the offside and knocked on by the fielder. Good single, Behardin. But the fielder dived. He made a good stop, but the ball didn't go very far away from him. A couple of steps, he got up, picked it up and threw it back to the keeper. So there was a knock-on, but it wasn't really a knock-on that went too far away from the fielder. So he recovered, and Behardin wasn't really interested from the beginning.
Yeah, I think rightfully so. There was not quite a single there. It was just good fielding. But it wasn't a definite single where you could call for a run. And rightfully so, standing his ground and sending his partner back. Just total miscommunication from the duo. But Behardin's still there, sitting on 39.
That's it, Behardin's done a good job. He's not had too many dot balls delivered to him. He's rotated well. Just needs a willing partner here to get through his remaining overs and try and have a bit of a flurry towards the back end. They can't really play with too much freedom. Lost early wickets. Need to just try to take it a bit deeper. End of the 29th. 120 for 5.
They've bowled well, the Indians, and they've enforced silly mistakes from that South African batting lineup. Henry Davids at the top of the order, getting a good start, but not enough. Farhan Behardin sits on 40, facing 57 ball, and desperately needs a partner who's going to support him at the under end. And Dwayne Pretorius is more than handy to do that job. But they need to take this deep into towards the 50th over so that they can get out and actually launch and have a base to play from towards the end.
Oh, jeepers. Airborne for a short period of time. They've got 2 men on that extra cover line. They're quite close together. So there's 3 fielders on the offside. That's where they want him to hit.
Asking questions, Kahal.
Come on, boys.
He's one to turn a bit. He's generally used the ball that skids on straight. Trying to get that LBW, that one a bit slower. Did get a bit of purchase. Good piece of bowling and good anticipation by that mid-wicket fielder. Saw Behardien shaping up to work it, and he moved very well. Axar Patel, good package he is. That one's going to be wider, surely. A lot slower through there, that one.
Trying to give it a little bit of air and slowing it down. Trying to enforce a mistake, but just does not quite get the direction right. Lots of turn. Stays with the ball. Farhan.
See the way this partnership has started there. Fair bit of caution. That's some turn there. First we've really seen today. But look what's to come. There's Pangiso.
To be run out in a dismal miscommunication between the two. This is how it transpires. Smothers had good fielding at short cover. He gets up and Mulder is in no man's land, being sent back by his partner. Yeah, Mulder will go for one.
When Pretorius arrives at the crease, 28 years old, part of the Champions Trophy squad in England, and he's in, and there's a bit of pressure on right now. Our Spin Twins are doing a good job. 100 750s, strike rate of 97.
Very handy batsman down the order. Dwayne Pretorius.
Successful over for Chahal. 115 for 5. Rocked early, Hendricks, Davids and Clausen knocked over very early with that opening spell from India. Zondo, Behardien, bit of rebuild.
so athletic in the field, Brendan McCullum. A wicket in that over, 76 for 3.
Yeah, there's been a problem throughout the South African innings that KRD needs support.
Finding his rhythm once again is Fahane Bardin. That's a really good shot.
Yes, as we see that shot, this time he goes straight down the ground. We saw Dwayne Pretorius, he took the initiative at previous over, but this time Bardin does it beautifully as well.
It's interesting that Manish Pandey, the Indian ace skipper, is keeping mid-on and mid-off up for the most part. It's worked because it's made singles hard to come by, but he must now starting to think that perhaps the one down the ground is a lesser of the two evils. Bit of extra bounce.
Yes, he's definitely going for, they need one wicket, and then he knows they're into basically more your bowlers. Aaron Pangizo, he is a fighter. He will scrap all the way to the end to get scores, but one wicket here, and there's almost a little bit of an end open.
Having been hit down the ground, he adjusts his length. You think it's going to be a little bit shorter, but it did steeple. Just a good passage over the last 2.5 overs. 20 runs scored at a good pace. 14 deliveries, 20 runs. And it hasn't been with any risk, really. It's just been taking opportunity, calculated batting. Good cricket by these two. Perhaps not as calculated.
Once again, we see from the centre of excellence end just that little bit of extra bounce, which has deceived the batsman for the most part of this day.
It's quite a grandiose term, that, isn't it? Centre of excellence. Puts a bit of pressure on yourself when you name something the centre of excellence. It better produce excellence.
The ones who name it, it's easy. It's the guys who got to produce from a centre of excellence.
There's the pressure, that's it. He'll keep the bowling once again. Well, Dwayne Pretorius, he's been quite proficient at that. 40 overs gone, 10 remain. We're going into the final power play, and South Africa are recovering nicely. Much better, the second power play. Good run rate, just under 5s after the drama of the first 10 overs where the ball certainly held sway over the bat and encouraging conditions. Adrian Holstock signals the introduction of power play number 3 and a change of bowling. Man, so successful with the new ball. He bowled beautifully. Got the bounce bowling from the centre of excellence end. But he's switching ends now, replacing his new ball partner, Shahal Thakur.
Yes, and a different skill set, which he will have to execute now as the ball is slightly older. The batsman will look to be more aggressive, so it'll be interesting to see how he shows his skill with the old ball.
Goes to Pretorius. Turned away comfortably to take him into the 40s. Working the singles, it's really starting to build nicely once again. From 115 for 5, these two have been very productive. as you said earlier, bowling on the Dennis Lilly headband. Curly Ambrose got asked to take his wristbands off by Dean Jones, wasn't it? I don't think anybody asked Dennis Lilly to take a headband off. That would have been foolish.
Yes, and his batting, the rest of the batters didn't speak to Dean Jones for the rest of the series because he bowled them out.
Wide. Yeah, Curly cranked it up to about 155 that day.
Absolutely, and he was uncomfortable even just on an average day. So, yes, it's a topic of discussion, you know, headgear, wrist gear, but this time it's a red headband, and if it was around the wrist and if it was white, the batsman was well entitled to ask him to remove it, but on this occasion it's completely legitimate.
Very good.
Oh, he's picked it up so easily. Whistled for 4.
As we have a look, this time just dragged down. Dwayne Pretorius, he obliged, just helping it on its way, finds a gap between long leg and deep square leg.
Talk about different skill sets. We saw him exhibit the new ball bowling perfectly. So far, less impressive coming back for another spell with the older ball.
Absolutely. So important in today's game that you're a well-rounded player. You need to offer different skill sets when the ball is old, when the ball is new, different slower balls. Same for batsmen. You need to have a good touch play. You need to have a good power element to your game. Makes modern day cricket really exciting.
He's had a lot of the bowling of late, Pretorius, so that Bahadin has been somewhat becalmed. I think things are going, when we saw a couple of overs ago, Kruger, gloves come out and a bit of instruction, we were saying, well, if they go just under a run of ball, they'll get to 200 after 45. Well, progress has been way better than I think they could have anticipated, and they haven't even had to look for it.
It's very, very true, Brett. And sometimes it's almost better off aiming for 240. And if you play that well, you'll naturally get 260, just by keeping a nice and clear mind, and they've done that really well.
Another neatly guarded single. Looking much better now for South Africa. 184 for 5 with 9 overs remaining. 9 off that over as the projections start to look a little bit more achievable. 8 and over, 256 from here. With these 2 in, I think, and that remains the key. They have to bat the bulk of those 9 overs that remain.
Yes, and sometimes you see 9 overs, but that still means 54 balls, which is a lot of batting still to come. I think you summed it up beautifully, Brett. It's so important that they are there in those latter overs, especially those last 3 or 4 overs.
Coach Shukri Conrad's got his finger on the pulse of everything as always. Just talking to him before the game, they were grappling, were the Brains Trust of the A side, whether to go a bowler light and pick the extra batsman, and they just felt that the way this pitch is played during the tournament, that you need frontline bowlers all in your 5-pronged attack, no part-timers. Yuzvendra Chahal comes back for his last 2. I think it's a good change. It's been much easier to score off seam in these latter overs. So Manish Pandey is turning to spin once again. Starts with a wide.
I think the key to a really good total here for SA is how they play the remaining overs of the 2 spinners. I think we've seen with the seamers, it's been a little bit easier, but how they play Chahal and Akshar.
cut away. There may be more than one. In fact, it might almost go for 4. The fielding's good in the end, keeps it down to 2.
Yes, the general standard of fielding has been very good from the Indian side and South African A side as well, right throughout the series. A lot of youth out there, and they throw themselves around.
Didn't look like he was going to get there. He got a slow start, the boundary rider, and then had to stretch and lurch. Got a lot quicker to the ball on this occasion, keeps it down to 1. I would suggest, to answer your question loosely, Kruger, if their tactic was to get to 200 by over 45, are we talking about when the gloves came out? They're well on their way, so they can just see spin off effectively. They don't have to take it on, take it where it comes, and they're still in the position they want to be.
I think so, and especially he's only got 4 fielders in the ring, so in this case, if you want to see them off, it'd be a case of picking up between 4 and 5 and over, and like I say, then those last 5 overs become important.
Only got a bit quicker now as Chahal. It's a good finish to the over that yielded just not quite finished. That yielded 4. 4 off the first 2 deliveries, first 2 legal deliveries, and then dots since then. Oh, and it's nearly a drag on. So nearly a drag on. 4 from that over, 188 for 5. So where's he going to go, Manish Pandey? Spinner's got 1 each, so that would take it to 44 overs. He's got to find 6 overs between. What remains? It'll probably be the front 2 you'll fancy, for the most part. Somewhere along the way, Thampi and Shankar have got to sneak an over in.
Yes, I think the next 2, the 1 over remaining from Akshar and Chahal are important ones. Then he might probably just look to mix it up between Fakur, Kahul and Thampi. Not get too predictable, swing those 3 around from the different ends. Very important today's game that you don't become predictable at the end.
Akshar Patel to bowl his last over. I think the field setting also that Patel's bowling there, what he did to Bahadin, is bread and butter for Farhan Bahadin. All he's looking to do is get across, knock it to the onside, take his 1. It was almost free there. There was just no one in the ring saving 1 at all.
Yes, we spoke about Kai Zondo earlier and how he goes deep into the crease. I think Farhan Bahadin, he employs a similar tactic where he can go right forward but right back as well. And a slow wicket to manipulate the field, that's a very effective option.
He's hit that incredibly hard. My word, long off, hardly had to move to his right, and it's whistled to the fence. Takes him to within 1 of a very well-deserved half-century.
It's a very sweet strike by Dwayne Pretorius in a preferred area of his. He's targeted that extra cover boundary and long off against his ball spinning away from him.
Tell you what, long off might have been a little wide, but he only had to run about 7 or 8 meters to his right to cut that off. He didn't have a chance. Not a chance. It's been a super innings from Dwayne Pretorius. Really has. Should get a really warm round of applause from his teammates, because this is a match restoring innings. It's been superbly played. In the context of the match, scoring at almost a run a ball is very good indeed. 55 balls. Super effort, Dwayne Pretorius.
So important for him to realize that the 43 balls left in this innings, if he can face the majority or at least half of that, it'll take his side up to that 250, 260 mark quite easily.
Another good over for South Africa A. 7 from it. Oh, he's given it away, has he? He's chipped it in the gap. Oh, he couldn't have judged it better, and it's gone for 4. My word. What a mess. He's nearly holed out mid-wicket and long on a back. He's miscued it in looking for maximum. That hung in the air tantalizingly, and I thought for all money he was going to be taken. But in the end, it could not have been placed better.
Is there a replay coming?
11 off that over then, as South Africa edged closer to the 200 mark, and Pretorius, the more belligerent of the two in the partnership that is getting South Africa back on track. Time for a change of voice, taking you through to the end of the innings, Dumisa Makalima and John Kent.
Aksa to finish, to start off. The 44th. Just exactly what South Africa A needed. And that brings up the 200. From the position they were in, South Africa A, they've done very well. Dwayne Pretorius doing exactly what Farhan Behardien needed at the time. Is support, and sufficient support as well.
They've resurrected things unbelievably well. 86 from 96 is the partnership. Behardien's had to do hard graft, get in the middle overs and try and get a partnership. Needed a willing partner. Pretorius has provided that, and some impetus at a runner ball.
Lots of air given. Standing at 86. This partnership of 97 balls. They've done very well, these two.
Good areas, boys.
They're running hard. They'll turn that one down. And we know how these two can finish off games. John Kent, their role within their team setup is to find themselves in these similar situations and actually finish off the innings properly.
Brilliant. Brilliant partnership, just what was needed. And you know what's to come. There's not much batting to come after these two, so they've batted responsibly. And now they've really changed the momentum of this innings and just starting to put some real pressure on these Indian fielders and bowlers towards the back end. Been a pleasure to watch these two at work.
That's the end of the 44th. South Africa A at 204 for 5. He's played well. Dwayne Pretorius. He's taken calculated risks. And he's put away the bad deliveries when needed, providing the sufficient support for Farhan Behardien and getting his team into a good position in the meantime. Well played, Dwayne. Scored all around the wicket. Strong on the offside and off the legs. But generally scoring all around the wicket, striking at 94. That's what he does so often.
Lots of arms waving around. Tampy, he's back into the attack. Captain trying to marshal some of his field settings at the moment. Looks like he's settled on it. 3 men on the offside in the ring, 1 on the leg side. Very deep.
I think South Africa, from the position they were finding themselves early on, anything close to 250, they have to be happy with. Over that will be a bonus. And these two are responsible for that rebuilding phase which South Africa A find themselves in.
Good thing Basil has done since he's come back into the attack. He's hit the length pretty hard. On and around off stump, he hasn't floated any up or any looseners. He's on the money right away. That's what his captain needs. Set the tone.
It's a big hit, flicked off the legs, and that will sail over the deep square leg for a maximum.
I'll have a bit of that. Behardien hasn't really expressed himself at this stage. He's grafted hard. He's worked for this. And now all the South African fans will be hoping we see a lot more of that towards the back end and finish with some real big hits. He's got no problem clearing the boundary, that's for sure. It's a wonderful finisher. His first maximum.
Partnership on 95 of 104 balls. What's been impressive about this innings from Behardien is when he came in, the situation was not ideal to just come in and play. He had to absorb a lot of pressure from good bowling from the Indian bowlers. And he was searching for a partner who can support the role that he's playing. And Dwayne Pretorius responded. Good bowling. Hitting the pitch really hard.
He's had a wonderful stroke into the netball courts next door here, but in between it's been tough to rotate that strike. We've just seen he spent a lot of time at the crease and he's still not quite comfortable there. That sort of stood up on him a bit, that ball.
Tampi getting a little bit of a beating, going for 40 in his 5.5 overs. Another big hit, and that will clear the mid-off, which is on the circle, and that will run away for 4.
Ends the over with a very handy boundary. 2 boundaries, 4 dots. That's the outcome this time, trying to go over mid-off. Didn't quite time it, but he had the legs, managed to get it over that mid-off fielder, who stayed up in the ring. Well, Hirsch is going to have to throw it back.
The 43rd and the 45th over have been very fruitful for the South African A side. And I think with the teammates sitting outside, they know that once these two get to those overs where they can launch, they are more than capable. And what better man you would love on the crease to be doing it out there than Dwayne Pretorius and Farhaan Behardien. To bring a change in bowler. Taku coming back. Gone for 37 in his age, just picking up a wicket. Early on, I think it was Reza Hendricks, very good delivery. But he's got a different job he had to do. Death bowling is what's required.
South Africa will be targeting these 5 overs, big 5 overs for them. Trying to almost play a bit of catch-up for their early struggles in the innings, and they thankfully have got 2 batsmen who are in now. Pangi must be getting a bit of pad rash. He's been stuck in there. This partnership's 99 now of 106 deliveries. Tell you what, he's stuck in the pads for a while, hasn't he? He's had a blind of a series with ball in hand. Looking for another fine performance today.
Big hit. There's a man coming underneath it. He's diving forward. Oh, he's going to fall short. It is that time of the innings now where a lot of initiative is going to be taken by the batsman.
See, there is some bounce out here. You put some effort in, bend it back, you can extract something from this wicket. The 100 partnership, very, very well played between these 2 batsmen. A steep bounce, top edge, trying to fade away on the offside. The fielder, third man diving in and doing well in the end to actually stop it. Those can get under you and go for 4 as well. So he ran in, tried to be on the positive side, try to take the catch on. He didn't quite make his ground. But 100 partnership up for this pair. Great effort.
Another big hit. This time he's hit it straight up in the air. There's somebody coming underneath it, and he's going to take a comfortable catch. Running in from the sweeper boundary together. A comfortable catch just outside of the circle.
He's trying to go big. He's trying to go down the ground. And the bowler started pretty well here. He's bowled back of a length, and it stood up on him. He's trying to go down over long on somewhere there and got an outside edge, and the thin air of Pretoria travelled all the way out to the cover sweeper. Took a smart catch running in. He frustrated with himself. He set it up. Unfortunately, when he wanted to cash in here, he's holed out. But a good end of a good partnership and a handy knock from Pretorius. He makes his way off the ground for well played 58. SAA 216 for 6.
Will join Farhan Beadin to finish off proceedings here. To get a substantial total. And this is the reason why he's here. Dwayne Pretorius not quite getting hold of that one. And a very good running catch from the boundary to position himself. Been having his pads on for a while, Pangiso.